Hello everyone, how are you all? Children, before I begin with today's class, let me say a few things related to your assignments. Okay, we have so far sent you 23 assignments, excluding today's. I'm not counting today's assignment. There are some students who have been very regular, who have been very sincere in doing the assignments. They have been, mailing those assignments to the respective subject teachers also, which is appreciated by everyone. We are really happy with the response of those students, and their hard work is not going unnoticed. But at the same time, there are some students who are doing their homeworks, who are sending their assignments to the teachers by mail, through mail, but they are not regular in it. By not being regular, I mean that sometimes they send one homework, then they leave two or three homeworks of the same subject, and the next assignment they are sending. For example, if they are doing the 19th assignment, then 20th assignment, 21st assignment they have left, and straight away they have sent the 22nd assignment. This irregularity you have to avoid. You have to correct this habit of yours. Okay? Why? Why we are saying this? Because it is mandatory for every student to do all the homeworks that are being sent to you by your subject teachers. It is very necessary, it is compulsory for you people to make sure that every assignment of all the subjects, of every subject, is complete and is mailed to the teacher also. In case there is any assignment which you have not done, or you have done but have not mailed, please do that. Do mail those assignments to the teachers, so that our record can be updated. Okay, when will you will be getting calls from your class teachers regarding your assignments. And don't think we do not know which subject assignment, which assignment of which subject you have not submitted. We have kept a record. Okay, so don't take your assignments lightly. Every assignment is counted. Okay, so make sure that you are doing your assignments on a timely basis, and do not forget to send those assignments to the teachers through mail. One thing you have to make sure is that when you mail your assignments to the teacher, make sure that the mail is sent and not queued. A mail is queued when either the service is slow, the speed is slow, or when the network is weak. Okay, so in case a queued mail is there, then after 10-15 minutes try to send that mail again to the teacher and ensure that the assignment is sent and not queued. Okay, so class 6, today we'll be doing English literature, and we'll start with chapter number 6, A Merry Christmas. It is an excerpt from a very famous novel, Little Woman, written by Louisa May Alcott. The story is about March family who recently shifted to a new place, Massachusetts, in United States. They are in the family. There are 4 daughters: Jo, Meg, Beth, and Emmy, who are living with their mother. Their father is not with them because he has gone to some other place to earn his living. He wants to make the life of his family member more comfortable, so he has gone to some other place in search of job. Now, in the Marsh family, there is also a housemaid who's called Hannah. Okay, the story is about a Christmas morning. One Christmas morning, the children wake up and they look forward to spend the morning in each other's company. This story describes the beautiful relation that exists between the 4 sisters. It also shows their caring and sharing aspect of nature, which is beautifully shown by their act of kindness. Now, what that act of kindness was, That's a secret which I'm not going to, tell you right now. We'll do it while reading the chapter. Okay. So let us begin the chapter, and for that you have to open page number 89 of your course book. Joe was the first to wake in the grey dawn of Christmas morning. No stockings hung at the fireplace, and for a moment she felt as much disappointed as she did long ago when her little sock fell down because it was so crammed with goodies. Then she remembered her mother's promise and, slipping her hand under her pillow, drew out a little crimson covered book. The story begins with Joe waking up early in the morning of the Christmas day. As it was Christmas, she was very excited, and in her excitement, she looked towards the fireplace. But she was very disappointed because she did not find any stockings, that is, socks hanging over the fireplace. Now, during Christmas, people decorate their houses with various kinds of things, or various things which are associated with Christmas, like stockings, candy sticks, crystal balls. So, all sort of these things people use to decorate their houses. They not only decorate the houses with these things, they also decorate the fireplace. On the fireplace, above the fireplace, they hang a row of stockings. They also place a Christmas tree in their living area, and under that Christmas tree they place the different gifts which they bring for the family members. Okay. Now Joe was very disappointed when she did not find any stockings over the fireplace, and it was the same kind of disappointment that she felt long time ago when she was trying to hang a sock over the she was trying to hang stockings which was too cramped, too filled with goodies. It became so heavy that it fell under its own weight. Okay, so that kind of the same kind of disappointment she felt when she did not find any stocking over the fireplace, hanging over the fireplace. But then suddenly she remembered a promise that her mother had made to her, and remembering that promise, she became little happy, and again excitingly she slips her hand under her pillow and fumbles around, and then finds something, feels something that was kept there under the pillow. And when she pulls it out, she sees that it is a present which is wrapped up in crimson colored paper. Crimson here stands for dark purple colored paper, and that was a book. She knew it very well, for it was that beautiful old story of the best life ever lived, and Joe felt that it was a true guidebook for any pilgrim going the long journey. She woke Meg with a Merry Christmas and bade her see what was under her pillow. So when Joe sees that book, she is very happy because she knows what was that book about. It was about the best life ever lived by someone, and Joe considered that book to be a true guide, a guide which would help someone live the best life. Okay, it was, according to Joe, it was a guidebook that one could follow if he or she wanted to have a life which was best in every means. So after finding her book under the pillow, she wakes Meg up by wishing her Merry Christmas, and then bade her see. Bade her see means she asked her to see what was under her pillow. A green covered book appeared with the same picture inside and a few words written by their mother, which made their one present very precious in their eyes. So when Joe asks Meg to see what mother had kept under her pillow as a gift, Meg lifts up her pillow and she finds a book, a green covered book there, and it had the same picture, the same kind of picture which was on Meg's book, and there were few, words written by her mother. Now, because the mother had so painstakingly covered those books with different colors in, as a present, as a Christmas present for her daughter, and she had also written short, beautiful messages, loving words in each book. Uh, the book it became a very precious gift for the girls from their mother's side. Presently, Beth and Amy woke to rummage and find their little books also. One dove colored, the other blue, and all sat looking at and talking about them while the east grew rosy with the coming day. Soon, Beth and Amy also woke up and they also started looking for their gifts because every child knew that mother had promised them a gift, and the moment they woke up they searched for that gift under their pillow because they had that idea that mother must have kept that thing under their pillow. So every child, every girl, after waking up, they looked for that gift from their mother from under the pillow. And when Beth and Amy woke up, they also did the same thing, and they found their own personal gift which was kept under their pillow by their mother. One gift was wrapped up in dove colored color paper, and the other one was covered with blue color paper. So all four of the daughters, they sat together and they started talking about the gift which they got from their mother. And slowly the day grew. You can see the east grew rosy with the coming days. Slowly the time started passing. It was getting more brighter every minute. In spite of her small vanities, Margaret had a sweet and pious nature which unconsciously influenced her sisters, especially Jo, who loved her very tenderly and obeyed her because her advice was so gently given. Meg is the short name of Margaret. Okay, Meg stands for Margaret. Now, Margaret, or you can say Meg, was a little proud and an arrogant girl, but she was very sweet and pious nature. She was very, good-natured girl, in spite of her pride and arrogance. And the way she behaved, or her behavior, or her persona had an influence on her sisters, because on her sisters, especially Jo, because Jo was very fond of Meg, and whatever Meg asked her to do, she used to do it. The advice that Meg used to give, it was always taken up by Jo, and she always tried to follow on Meg's footsteps. Girls, said Meg, seriously looking from the tumbled head beside her to the two little night-capped ones in the room beyond. Mother wants us to read and love and mind these books, and we must begin at once. Now, the girls, all the four girls, were not in the same room. Jo and Meg were in one bedroom, while Beth and Amy were in an adjacent room. Adjacent room means the next room. Okay, so while the girls were very excitedly talking about their books which they got from their mother, and at that time Meg told her sisters that what their mother wants them to do. She tells them that mother wants all four children to read the books that is presented to them, and also to take care of these books, and that is what they should do right away. We used to be faithful about it, but since father went away and all this war trouble unsettled us, we have neglected many things. You can do as you please, but I shall keep my book on the table here and read a little every morning as soon as I wake, for I know It will do me good and help me through the day. Now, then Meg continues and she says that earlier, also before shifting to Massachusetts, when they were living in their old place in the old city, there also they used to do the same thing. They used to read the books regularly, and they used to, after reading, they used to keep the books in its proper place. But since father has gone away to the other place and they have shifted to Massachusetts, plus the war that that is going on right now, that is the civil war, American war, that is American civil war that was going on, so their daily routine had changed. They were no longer following this routine of reading the books regularly and keeping them in their place, in the proper place after they are done with the reading. So she says that you can do whatever you want to do with your books, but as far as I am concerned, that is, as far as Meg is concerned, she has made up her mind that every morning she is going to read few pages of that book, and she will keep that book on the table. Okay, and she says that I will do that regularly because I know that what I'm going to read in this book is going to help me become a better person, and it will also help me to carry on with my day-to-day activities in a better way. Then she opened her new book and began to read. Jo put her arm round her and, leaning cheek to cheek, read also, with the quiet expression so seldom seen on her restless face. After that, after saying this, Meg opens the book that was given to her by her mother, and she starts reading. Following her example, Jo also starts reading her book, and while doing so, she leans on to Meg's, and she also starts reading it. How good Meg is! Come, Emmy, let's do as they do. I'll help you with the hard words, and they'll explain things if we don't understand, whispered Beth, very much impressed by the pretty books and her sister's example. When Beth looks at Meg, she finds her reading the book. Jo was also doing the same thing. So she was very impressed by the way they were, sincerely reading the book, and the brand new book which both the girls were holding in their hands was also looking very impressive. So she got inspired, and she tells Amy to do the same, and she says that, come on Amy, we should also start reading the book like Jo and Meg are doing, and if there is any difficult word, if there is any hard word which we come around, then if you come around, then I will help you with reading, with either the pronunciation part or with the meaning part of those words. And if there are some words which neither of us can understand or pronounce properly, then we will go to Beth, then we'll go to Jo and Amy and Margaret to ask for their help, and I'm sure that they are going to help us with the words which we are unable to pronounce or unable to understand the meaning of. I'm glad mine is blue, said Emmy, and then the rooms were very still while the pages were softly turned, and the winter sunshine crept in to touch the bright heads and serious faces with a Christmas greeting. Okay, so Amy agrees with Beth, and then she tells Beth that she's very happy that her book is of blue color. And then all four children, they start reading their book, and there was pin drop silence in the house. And the only sound which was happening there was when the girls were, while reading, turning the pages. Once the one page was done, the girls were turning the pages of the book very softly, and that was the only rustling sound of the turning pages. Where is mother? Asked Meg as she and Jo ran down to thank her for their gifts half an hour later. After reading the book for about half an hour, Jo and Meg, they come down to the hall area, to the living area, and there they find their maid, that is Hannah, and they asked her where mother was, because both Meg and Joe wanted to thank their mother for the lovely gifts that they got on that Christmas morning. Goodness only knows. Some poor creature come a begging, and your ma went straight off to see what was needed. There never was such a woman for giving away victuals and drink, clothes and faring, replied Hannah, who had lived with the family since Meg was born, and was considered by them all more as a friend than a servant. Now, though Hannah was a servant and she had been living with the family for a very long time, almost since Meg was born, but she was never treated like a servant, and the girls always looked at her as a friend and treated her as a friend. So, when Meg asks Hannah where her mother was, Hannah replies and tells them that only God knows where she has gone, because all she knows is that somebody came at their doorstep asking for, help, begging for help, and out of pity, her mother has had gone with that person to see what all was needed by her, because it was her very basic nature. Their mother was very kind at heart, and she was always helpful. She always helped people who were in need, and she says that she has never Hannah says that she has never seen someone who is always ready to give away food and drinks, clothes to the needy people. She will be back soon, I guess. So do your cakes and have everything ready, said Meg, looking over the presents which were collected in a basket and kept under the sofa, ready to be produced at the proper time. Why, where is Emmy's bottle of cologne? She added, as the little flask did not appear. So, hearing this, Meg tells Hannah that she needs to, finish up with her work and get everything ready because mom will be back soon. Now, all the four girls had planned Christmas gifts for their mother, and all the gifts were kept in a basket under the sofa, and they were waiting for the right time when the mother will be there, and those gifts will be handed over by each child to the mother. So Meg was just looking over, she was just checking all the gifts that the girls had made or prepared or bought for their mother. So while she was going through the different items, suddenly she realizes that a bottle of cologne was missing. So she asks Hannah that where is that bottle of cologne which Amy had bought for her mother. She took it out a minute ago and went off with it to put a ribbon on it or some such notion, replied Joe, dancing about the room to take the first stiffness off the new army slippers. Hearing this, Joe, who was there with Meg, she tells Meg that she saw Amy take that bottle of cologne, and she has gone out of the house because maybe she wants to put a ribbon on it or some other thing she wants to add on to that bottle of cologne, and that is why she has taken it and she has gone out of the house. How nice my handkerchiefs look, don't they? Hannah washed and ironed them for me, and I marked them all myself, said Beth, looking proudly at the somewhat uneven letters which had cost her such labor. Now, Beth had made handkerchiefs for her mother, and showing those handkerchiefs to the other girls, she says that her handkerchiefs were washed and ironed by Hannah, and they are looking very nice, very presentable. And she tells them that she herself has marked each hanky with few letters on it because she wanted to make sure that nobody else mistake or mistakes that hanky for being theirs. So she shows those, letters written by her on those hankies to the other girls. Bless the child. She's gone and put mother on them instead of M. March. How funny, cried Joe, taking up one. Isn't it right? I thought it was better to do it so, because Meg's initials are MM, and I don't want anyone to use these but Mommy, said Beth, looking troubled. As Beth was showing her handkerchief, Joe picked up one hanky and she observes it very carefully, and then she says that, see, she has instead of writing M. Marsh, she has written mother on that hanky, and it is looking very funny. So Beth says that she feels that writing mother on the hanky was a better option than writing M. March, because M stands for Margaret also, and she never wanted Margaret or anybody else to think that the hankies were for her. So instead, to remove that confusion, to avoid that confusion, Beth had written mother on the hanky, so that everybody would come to know that the hankies were for their mother and not for Meg. It's all right, dear, and very pretty idea. Quite sensible too, for no one can ever mistake now. It will please her very much, I know, said Meg, with a frown for Joe and a smile for Beth. There's mother! Hide the basket quick! Cried Joe as a door slammed and steps sounded in the hall. Amy came in hastily and looked rather abashed when she saw her sisters all waiting for her. Now, Meg was witnessing this conversation between Joe and Beth, and in order to encourage, to boost Beth's morale, she praised the efforts made by Beth, and she says that Beth has done the right thing by writing mother on the handkerchief, because then it will be then it's quite a sensible one, because now nobody will be able to nobody will make mistake, and even the mother will be very pleased because of the efforts that Beth has put in making those hankies. And then she frowns at Joe, as a way, frown is like looking in this way, the way I'm doing it. She frowned at Joe as a way, in a manner to say that you should not make fun of somebody's effort. So then as she was speaking, suddenly there was a sound of the door slamming, the door opening and closing, and they heard the footsteps in the hall, and Joe cried, and Joe, thinking that it was their mother, she quickly told the other girls that be quick, mother is coming, let's hide our basket and stand to greet her, and we should be ready with our gifts. So, but actually, in place of mother, it was Amy. When the door was opened by Amy, who had gone out for some work. So when Amy entered the hall, very quickly, very hastily, she was like she had gone out, and she had taken her bottle of cologne with her, and she came back because she also wanted to gift something to her mother. So when she came back, she saw that all her three sisters were eagerly waiting for her. So she was quite embarrassed, feeling that the girls were waiting for her.